What's up, Kryptonians, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about my most anticipated films of 2025. Yes, I'm well aware that pretty much everyone in the entire world has already made this video, and they made this video probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I already told you guys I take like a mini vacation at the beginning of the year to kind of recharge, so I didn't get a chance to do that video, but I am doing that video today. Before we go any further, if you would be so kind, please like the video, share the video, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are doing big things in 2025, people. I am aiming for 2,000 to 3,000 subs this year. I'm also working on a pod. I'm also very close to securing a second channel that I'm going to be talking about video games and other stuff on. I feel like I'm now finally like 90 to 95% of the way to actually making this stuff a reality. Join me on this channel for the corny jokes, solid cogent analysis, I think, or if you just want to watch an idiot babble for a little bit on the channel, please join, subscribe, do all of that. I'd really appreciate it. So keep in mind, this is just my personal list. This doesn't mean that these are the only films that I'm excited for in 2025. Also, I thought about rating each movie on a scale of 1 to 10, like how excited I am to see the movie as far as like seeing it opening day. I feel like that's like a little thing that might differentiate this from other videos. So hey, we're just gonna go with it and see what happens. First movie on my list is Avatar: Fire and Ash. I love Avatar. I cannot wait to see this movie. We're gonna get another big ass 3-hour sci-fi action epic at the end of this year. Been a big Avatar fan for years now. James Cameron's one of my favorite directors. I love the first 2 Avatar movies. I've read some of the Avatar comics. I appreciate the Avatar games, although I haven't played the most recent one. Not to be a snob, but I'm just not a big fan of first person type of games anymore. Like I used to play a lot of those games growing up, and now I just kind of, I stick to action and RPG and, you know, sports games and stuff like that. Either way, this is the one where James Cameron said shit really hits the fan. He said things are gonna get wild and things are gonna start going in a bunch of directions that we're not prepared for. I wanna see what happens with the Sullys. I wanna see what happens with Courage. I wanna see what happens with the Ash clan that I know a lot of people are comparing to the Fire clan from The Last Airbender. I'm just gonna say sit back and let my goat cook. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, but what about the cultural impact? Like, nigga, in 2026, Avatar: Fire and Ash is gonna be at like $2.5 billion, and you guys are still gonna be whining about cultural impact. Cultural impact these nuts. I would rate this one a 10 out of 10 as far as am I excited? Will I be there opening day? You bet your ass I will be. I'm also really excited to see 28 Years Later. Some of the scariest and fastest zombies that you'll ever see in your life. Aaron Taylor Johnson is in this one. It looks like he's having like a father-son type of bonding adventure with his son. That could be pretty cool. As a big fan of 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, I'm very fascinated to see how they continue this story. I really love the trailer that they put out. Zombie movie, it should be fun. It looks beautiful. It looks gorgeous. Can't wait to see it. I would say a 9 out of 10. Pretty solid 9 out of 10. I'll definitely be there. It's been a while since we've had a Bong Joon-ho movie, and this movie has been delayed. It was supposed to come out last year, but who doesn't want to see Mickey 17? It looks intriguing, it looks interesting, it looks like a sci-fi movie that has a lot to say about the human condition. It also just feels like a really fun-ass movie with a lot of self-awareness, and you get to watch Robert Pattinson die over and over again. Like, that just sounds really fun. We're not going to be seeing him as Batman anytime soon, so we might as well see him in a movie where he gets to die over and over again. I mean, that's like the next best thing, next to being Batman, pretty much. Bong Joon-ho, his catalog is so underrated. He's got nothing but bangers up and down his filmography. There is no doubt in my mind Mickey 17 is going to be one of those. Should be a great mixture of interesting and thought-provoking, but also really entertaining. I'm going to give this one maybe like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. We got Fantastic Four: First Steps. We really need to have a good Fantastic Four movie. Like, I am begging for a good Fantastic Four movie. I'm a fan of Marvel's First Family, right? I've read their comics. I'm hoping that after all these years, Marvel can finally get it right. Not in love with all of the casting choices, and the idea that Galactus is going to be in this movie is kind of weird to me. I'm not going to lie. But the fact that this movie is gonna take place in like a futuristic retro 60s thing on another planet, like that is really interesting to me. I think it's been very hit or miss, mostly miss with the Fantastic Four, and if the MCU, if Marvel can't get it right, there is no hope for the Fantastic Four on film. Like, I feel like they should just dead it at that point. I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10, mostly because I'm just a little bit leery and weary about some of the casting and some of the story decisions, and also just because the MCU has been very hit or miss lately, so I don't know how good the actual movie is gonna be. I'm just a little bit more at like a 7 out of 10. It's more of a cautious type of range. I can't believe it's almost been 10 years since we saw The Accountant. Do you guys remember The Accountant? The Accountant came out in 2016. It had Ben Affleck. It was directed by Gavin O'Connor. It was this really gritty action thriller, this crime thriller that involved this accountant, master of arms and badass mercenary too. Like, he had a brother, John Bernthal, who I think is gonna be back for this one. The Accountant was definitely one of the most underrated films of 2016, and I am very excited for The Accountant too. We haven't gotten a trailer or a poster or nothing yet, which I'm expecting us to get a trailer at some point here. Like, we'll probably get a trailer within the next month or two, but either way, Ben Affleck makes such good decisions with the projects that he's choosing nowadays. If it's anywhere near as good or as impactful or compelling as the first one, I think we're gonna be in for one of the surprise hits of 2025. If I had to list this one, I would say probably the same, about a 7. I'm excited to see it. There's no promotion material, and I'm a little bit worried that it's gonna get delayed or something, and it's been a long time. It's been 10 years, but hopefully the wait is worth it. Predator Badlands I'm excited for this one solely off the fact that I think Dan Trachtenberg is the guy that directs it. He's the guy that directed Prey, which came out a couple years ago, and it was one of my favorite movies of, what year was that? Was it 2022? The fact that he's back doing another Predator movie and that this one takes place in the future, I guess, so it's gonna have like a post-apocalyptic type of feel, futuristic vibe, like I really think that's interesting. We know absolutely nothing else about this movie. I think Ella Fanning is in it, and that's it, and we don't have a poster, we don't have anything. I like the idea of turning the Predator thing into an anthology thing where we just jump to different time periods and see how predators and how the humans who fight against them would fare in the different time periods and the different cultures and the different weapons that you use depending on what you have. I would list this one more at a 6 only because there's just so much we don't know yet about it, but Dan Trachtenberg, if it's anything like Prey, I'm gonna be there for it, and I'm definitely gonna check this one out. I'm still angry about the death of Ilsa Faust, played by Rebecca Ferguson in the last Mission Impossible movie, so I thought about putting this one at like a 5 out of 10 in terms of excitement. But you know what? It's Tom Cruise. It's probably gonna have some of the best action sequences of the entire year, and the fact that it's called The Final Reckoning definitely feels like some wild shit is about to go down. Maybe we could see some high-stakes stuff that we're not prepared to see. This could be a really big emotional send-off for the entire franchise, or it could just be, you know, an emotional send-off for right now until they reboot the thing with Tom Cruise and his cyborg twin in a couple of years. Either way, I'm gonna put aside how I feel about what they did to Ilsa in the last movie because Christopher McQuarrie is a war criminal for that, and that needs to be on the record. Outside of that, I'm looking forward to the stunts. I'm looking forward to Tom Cruise running away from his gay thoughts. Vanessa Kirby's fine ass, I'm sure she shows up at some point. Ving Rhames, I mean, come on, who doesn't like Ving Rhames? I just hope that we're gonna get something big and huge and emotional, definitely worth seeing in IMAX. After some debate with my internal pettiness, I'm gonna leave this one at like a 7 out of 10. I think 7 out of 10 is pretty fine. We got Ballerina, or Ballerina, a John Wick saga. I'm not sure what they're gonna actually call it. I'm just gonna call it Ballerina. Ana de Armas is in this movie, and it's about her. It's a spin-off from John Wick. Apparently it takes place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. I'm definitely intrigued because this is the first real John Wick spin-off we've had. No, I'm not going to acknowledge or talk about the other spin-off that was a TV show that shall not be named because we don't need to talk about trash on this channel. But I like Ana de Armas. I thought the trailer looked really cool. I'm really interested to seeing her and John teaming up. More importantly, I'm hoping that this is like the gateway to a lot of other spin-off John Wick movies. Like, that world is so interesting and there's so many fascinating characters in it. It doesn't make sense for us to only have one spin-off at this point. John Wick Chapter 4 was a perfect send-off. I don't need to see more John Wick, but I do need to see more of John Wick's world, and this feels like a great introduction into another segment of John Wick's world, so count me in for sure. I'm gonna leave this one at like a 6 out of 10. I'm really excited to see it, but I wouldn't say that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta be there opening day type of thing. Like, I see a lot of movies opening day anyways, but I might wait a couple of days. I might wait to see what other people say about it, but either way, color me intrigued. Another movie we have on the list is a movie called Sinners. It's directed by Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is one of the best directors working today. This is a guy that's becoming a master of his craft. I'm really excited to see the work that he's putting in with Michael B. Jordan. It's a black vampire movie. It's also a black vampire movie where Michael B. Jordan gets to play twins. Takes place back in the 1800s. I'm looking forward to it. I like black movies where we're not centered as like slaves or gangsters or any of the other stereotypes. I like movies where we get to dabble a little bit into that sci-fi or into that horror genre. Ryan Coogler is awesome. Michael B. Jordan is awesome. There's no way that the movie won't be awesome, right? I'm gonna leave this one at a solid 8 out of 10. Like, I'm really excited. I'll definitely be there opening day for this one. Last but not least, Guillermo del Toro. Haven't had a movie from him since Pinocchio, which came out in like 2021 or something. Maybe it was 2022. That was one of my favorite movies of that year. Either way, Guillermo del Toro, one of my all-time favorite directors, just like James Cameron. He is directing a movie about Frankenstein, and believe it or not, it's like the second Frankenstein movie that we're gonna get this year. It feels like that year where we had Olympus Has Fallen and White House Down, and they both came out within a few months of each other, and everyone immediately pitted them against each other. Bride of Frankenstein comes out at a different point in this year. I'm pretty sure it's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm not gonna lie, my expectations and my hope for this movie are so so big that I would probably look at Guillermo del Toro a little bit differently if the movie's trash. Luckily, that is probably not gonna happen. His practicality and his style, the way he approaches the filmmaking in his movies, and with Oscar Isaac, a proven talent, and with all the other talent that they've signed on for that movie, I mean, come on. That's a gold mine of stuff. Like, yes, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for sure. Guys, that's my most anticipated list of the year. There are definitely other movies out there. I want to know what your list is. So go ahead and list in the comment section down below what movies you're most excited for in 2025. Also, like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.